It is much like LeBron for about 10 straight years, maybe longer in the NBA. Nobody should have won the MVP besides LeBron for those 10 years. Just like Michael Jordan, for about 10 years, nobody else should have won the MVP. And because it's humans voting on it, and because every human has inherent biases, even those that might be voting on these types of things and are not supposed to have biases, want to mix it up. Just like we want Mraz to mix up the football food of the week, voters want to mix up the winners because it just gets too boring each and every year to vote for the same guy. And so MVPs are always like this. If a guy wins it 2 years in a row, you can be guaranteed he ain't winning the third year in a row unless there's no other option. That it's that much of a slam dunk. And so just giving Bill Belichick the Coach of the Year award every single year would become boring, and people would resent it. And then people would say, well, they're mailing it in. And they'll say, isn't there any fresh blood? And can't we give it to somebody else? And does he need another Coach of the Year award? Well, Cliff Kingsbury's really right. Who's the best football coach in the NFL? Belichick by a long shot. It's not quite close either. So who's the Coach of the Year? It should really be Bill Belichick every single year. But that's just not the way that it works. I was thinking about this after Monday night, actually, that once the wind gusts and the weather was going to impact that game so dramatically, and we were seeing the videos coming out of Orchard Park on Twitter with wind and snow hailing through, gusting through. People couldn't even hold their balance walking into the stadium. We're getting live reports on ESPN about how bad the wind is. You're going to be unable to throw the football. Louis Riddick said he couldn't even stand up in the wind. At that point, I said, well, the Patriots are going to win this football game. Because I knew that when something that dramatic alters a game plan, Belichick is so superior to his opposing coach. It's not a fair fight. And McDermott's a good coach. He ain't Belichick. But I thought to myself, beyond the Patriots are going to win this football game, if it was a perfect night in Buffalo, good passing weather, I probably would have picked the Bills because they needed the game more. They had to have that game. And if it's a day of passing, I'll take Josh Allen over Mac Jones. But if it's a day of running the football and only running the football, the Patriots do that far better than the Bills. But I thought to myself, beyond the Patriots are going to win this football game, I thought to myself, who is the opposing coach that you would look at and go, no, that's an equal to Belichick in this instance, where you know you have to throw out a bunch of what you thought was going to happen and adjust on the fly and make it look completely non-traditional. What would be the coach? Who could you put on the opposing sideline that would be the intellectual equal of Bill Belichick? And I thought to myself, there really isn't one. There is nobody coaching in the NFL today that I wouldn't think in that instance, Belichick can run circles around that guy. Sean McVay, I would say Belichick's winning that matchup and did in the Super Bowl. Pete Carroll, not even a fair fight. Mike Tomlin, I'm taking Belichick every day. The closest you might get is Andy Reid. That Andy Reid might feel like on that opposing sideline that he could figure out the solution to the puzzle the same way that Belichick could. But would it be an equal? Would you say Andy Reid might outsmart Bill? No way. You'd never say that. And to me, that's the definition of what Cliff Kingsbury is talking about here. Yeah, you can give the Coach of the Year award to a guy that did something surprising, brought a team that was no good to the playoffs. In this case, last year the Cardinals were 500. Now they have the best record in football. And sure, that's an impressive achievement for Cliff Kingsbury. But if Cliff Kingsbury was coaching on Monday night against Bill, who would you say advantage coach? I mean, Patriots all day long. Who has the advantage? Like, it's not even a fair fight to say is Cliff Kingsbury the equal to Bill Belichick as a coach. So I don't argue or debate or bring up Coach of the Year awards or MVPs because I think it's just window dressing and silliness and judgment and, who cares? It's not the game. So I rarely, if ever, even bring this stuff up. But I thought this is an interesting topic because Cliff Kingsbury is saying, yeah, me as Coach of the Year award, just give it to Bill. It's Bill every single year until he retires. Who could you have put on that sideline, Mraz, that coached the Bills on Monday night that you would say that guy has an equal chance of solving this puzzle as Bill?
No, I think the only other guy that I might have felt more confident in than others is Andy Reid at this stage. But that being said, I'll go one step further. I don't think that we will see anybody, even after Belichick retires in our lifetime, that we could put in a hypothetical equal footing as Belichick. That's how great he is above all else.
I think that's true. Because I even think about the greatest coaches of all time, Lombardi, Knoll, Landry, Walsh. In terms of when the game is chaotic, on the field, making every single decision the right decision. Every single coaching decision the Patriots basically make is almost always the right one in game. Who's the equal? Ever. Who would Bill not game plan better than? I mean, Walsh is a good one because Walsh offensively was more brilliant than Bill is offensively, but Bill's defensive acumen is second to none, probably all time. Landry was an amazing scheme guy, but I mean, Bill is next level type of genius at it. I don't know. There's not a guy in the NFL today that you could put on the sideline and that's his equal. And there pretty much has never been, which is just insane to think about. I mean, maybe Parcells, but, even Parcells' effectiveness when he was with the Cowboys, really good, but I don't think it was even then what Bill is today. I'll tell you this, and I say this about Mac Jones, and it comes off as a criticism, and it's really not. Mac Jones not only went to the perfect situation with a roster that had veteran tight ends, a good ground game, a good offensive line, a good defense. They had built a roster that could absorb and support a rookie quarterback. He went to a coach that knew exactly what to do with a young quarterback. Mac Jones is not who he is today, a winner in almost any other situation. There's no chance. It's almost a self-fulfilling prophecy that whoever the Patriots would have drafted there would have been the best rookie quarterback. And again, no offense to Mac Jones, he's fine. But if you put all 5 of the rookie quarterbacks in the same situation, my guess is Mac is the least impressive if they were in the same situation. But they're not in a situation where you get to go to Bill Belichick. So Kingsbury ultimately is right.